Some time ago, I've had a chance to sit down and talk with Chief Kinzo. For those of you who haven't yet had a chance to get to know him via his videos, he's an up-and-coming YouTube creator in CS2 space. He caught YouTube by storm, and since publishing his first video about 5 to 6 months ago, he has gained more than 6,000 subscribers on YouTube, more than 1.3 thousand subscribers on Twitch, and he has managed to build a great community on Discord that talks CS, plays CS, and enjoys time spent with each other. His aim is to become an amazing CS2 player while juggling adult responsibilities and working full time. I can confidently say that without his videos, I might have never taken training CS2 seriously, and this channel would most likely not exist. In the first part of the interview that you're just about to see, we dive into his childhood, his motivations behind getting on the CS2 content creator journey, his mindset, and the reasons why is his relationship with gaming so strong. If you haven't yet done so, make sure to have a look at his channel after this video. I will link it down below. And now, without further ado, let's watch the interview. When you said like how many things you do, like job, streaming, gaming, training to game, training combat sports, I feel like looking at you, looking at NetGame, looking at myself, like CS and streaming and creating content attracts very similar personalities. Like
Yeah,
these go-getters who are still like, even he stays fit, you know? I don't know how old he is. He's in a
38 or
really good.
something like that. Yeah. I guess we are naturally people who try to express themselves in different ways. So, as you can see, we have all pretty respectable jobs, I would say, in the respective industries. Like you and I won't say any companies that we are working for, but funny enough that you and I found out about our companies and we are actually pretty close to each other, but we are having a similar position in our jobs. And Netty Aim is somebody who is having the same position, right? He's in a corporate job, he's an engineer, how I understood. So this people who are in such positions, and I don't want to be like that other people are not like that, but they know what outcome, like they know what they have to put in order to get the proper outcome. Like if you go to university, like take 90am as an example, if you go to university, if you study engineering, then you got to get a good job, then you will be well paid, blah blah blah. And the same is if you go to the gym. Let's take 90am again for example. Like he was overweight, but he knew, all right, I'm gonna put some time into sports, going to the gym. Then he lost a lot of weight and he's still keeping himself fit. So, and this is something that the way I've been personally in my whole life was exactly like that. I know what to do in order to get a certain outcome. I had the idea to say, all right, let's just start a channel as I always wanted to start a channel. Fun fact, I think this is my 8th or 9th channel that I have started in my life.
Wow.
um, but they all failed. And they all failed not because of they were bad, because I gave up too early every time.
Mhm.
So, funny enough, the first time ever that I did any content was me in 2012 streaming Minecraft. And I had an audience. I was a young kid. I was streaming Minecraft like 13 years ago. I was like 15 or so, 14. And I was doing it in German, of course. But then I felt like I gotta concentrate on school.
Mhm.
And I was having the feeling that it's not worth it to continue doing this.
Got it.
Now looking back,
Streaming Minecraft at that, yeah,
at that
it's
time,
yeah.
maybe I should have continued if I had kept doing this. We don't know where we would be today, but I mean, that's life. It's trial and error. So
Indeed, and you know, now you might have been in a position when you're streaming the Minecraft and you're like, maybe I can do a challenge and get into a corporate job before I reach 30. It reminds me of a situation when my friend came to me. It was 2013, and he's like, dude, there is a thing called Bitcoin. And we need to buy for at least 80 euros on this platform. And I'm like, 80 euros? Like, if I give you 40 of mine, there's like two parties in Bratislava. Like,
Oh boy. Oh boy. But
so.
that's how time and life works, right? The
And
decisions you made are not reversible at all.
I remember when I opened your video that you posted the first, um, it showed up on my wall. I haven't had any chance of getting to know you through anything else, but that the YouTube decided to serve that video to me, and I wasn't even consuming that much CS content, which is very interesting. And you describe it as like the project is not really about becoming a pro in CS only, but it's about becoming global elite in life. And I wanted to start with asking, like, how was Kinzo at Silver 2? Meaning when you were a kid. Like, how were you growing up?
um, well, how was I growing up? I am from the countryside,
Mhm,
so we are from a small town. It's not like we're not in a big city. I'm from a countryside, and I grew up between like still very 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 old school. My parents were pretty religious, but I spent most of my time outside with the
mhm.
boys. So
The boys.
the boys. So I'm 28. I will be 29 in 2 months. So I've been growing up with classic stuff, right? Still, like I'm still a 90s kid. Um, so it was a pretty good childhood. Like as I said, I didn't have the most optimal start because I had a pretty. My parents were pretty like pressuring me in a lot of stuff to become successful, to become this, to become that, to do this, to do that, um, which led to me being pretty rebellious in my youth, doing a lot of stuff that I regret um, because I was so rebellious. Yeah, so I had a pretty rough youth,
Mhm.
a lot of partying, a lot of violence, a lot of sometimes criminality was involved, um, drugs. So I kind of lost track of that, but somehow I got the curve and I went back and said, "All right, I got to get out of this. So sit down." And that's when I'm grateful for my parents because I went back to them and said, "You were kind of right."
Mhm.
So I sat down, started my education, studied. Um, when the others were partying outside, I was studying. Then I started hitting the gym because I wanted to change my body. I was obese as a kid. So I started hitting the gym, and immediately the results started showing um, in university, but also in the gym. Yeah, so I became a bodybuilder because I have a competitive nature. So I went to the gym. I got a pretty good physique pretty fast. Seems like I'm genetically pretty gifted at that point. Um, so I said, "Oh, okay, but now what? Like, is it just like, okay, I got a nice physique. So what? I gotta show it off. I gotta like compare myself. I gotta like win stuff."
Yeah.
And that's when a over 10-year long bodybuilding competitive stage career has started at that point, at that time,
10 years.
alongside me
Wow.
in university. Um, yeah, so I was on a lot of stages. I did a lot of stuff. And then I called it quits 2 years ago.
Mhm.
Um, because of health reasons. I said it's enough because before being 30, quitting that professional, like it's not, I was not in the pros league, but quitting that way of life is more healthy for my body. I was pretty heavy at that point and I wasn't feeling right. Knock on wood, everything is good. I don't have anything that like anything that went wrong health wise. However, I think it was the perfect timing to quit.
Mhm.
And since then, I'm doubling around in different sports. I did triathlon. I still doing it. I got into combat sports recently because I love trying out a lot of things. Yeah, so personally, that was my sports career. Yeah, and my career with my jobs is the classic one. I went to university. I showed myself. I did all my exams. I tried to be the best. I was not the best, but by trying to be the very best gets you very, very far. Um, so I live by the saying, shoot for the moon, you will land on a star. Um, that's in every aspect of my life. I'm doing this. I'm overshooting, or I try to overshoot as far as possible, because the worst thing that can happen is that you land on something else that is not the best, but as great as that or enough.
You learn
So
something new in the process still. So that's
yeah,
always beneficial. Just to try and don't like if you fail tomorrow, so what? Try something.
I tried
Um
it.
so
Yeah.
when you said like this like rough part of your childhood happened and you don't need to go into details depending
Mhm,
on how you
mhm.
feel comfortable, but what's the timeline like between being a kid, getting into like being innocent kids, getting into those rougher activities or not doing, I don't want to call it proper growing up because nothing is really proper, but the peaceful growing up. And then when did that switch happen?
Well, so it got rougher when I was around 12.
Hmm.
That's something I'm not proud about. Um, but I guess that's something cultural here in small villages in
Yeah.
Germany. You get into trouble pretty fast,
Hmm.
um, because the people are not as people in the city who are like more, right? How should I say, like a little bit more living a high standard life.
Okay.
Like we are out here, we were getting drunk and like sleeping outside. Like that was passing out somewhere on a field. I don't know. That was like standard. Um, However, I think it started all between 12 and lasted like 6, 7 years.
Hmm.
And as I was around 18, 19, I was like, yo, because I was seeing how people from the generation before me were getting into their 30s, because we
Hmm.
were hanging around with those people actually.
Yeah.
Um, Getting into their 30s and losing control over their lives, like their girlfriends leaving them, they living on the streets and everything like that, because they were doing exactly that what I was doing, but they kept on doing that.
Hmm.
And that was an eye opener for me, as I was seeing, wow, like this could happen to me as
Yeah.
well. So I like I pulled the brake. I was like, yo, I gotta change my life. And one thing that stayed constant with me, which helped me out of this, are video games.
Hmm.
So I'm a gamer for all my life. I started, like, one of my first games was Half-Life
Yeah.
back in 2001. Um, this is the first time that I played Half-Life. Um, Actually, I have two Steam accounts. My first Steam account was with a first version of Steam that is not the same as right now.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I got a second one in 2006. So my Steam account is nearly 19 years old already.
Damn. Yes, I guess similar to mine. Similar to mine. I have to
Yeah,
check.
see, so you have to check how old yours is, because I love to check my to open my Steam account and to see, like, damn, 18, now still 19, 18 years, but like 18 years.
I guess this is my second because you know what happened when I had Counter Strike installed before I had internet at home because it was like I was having subscription to this gaming magazine that was produced in Czechia,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
they were having an article like how do you move in pro gaming, and they had Counter Strike, Unreal Tournament, and Quake Arena,
Those
and I
were
was
the games
like
that I was playing, yeah.
like damn, that looks so nice. So I installed all of them and just played with bots. And
Same
then
here.
when we
I
had
didn't have internet.
internet at home for the first time, something funny happened, which is I don't think anyone from the kids installing CS can even imagine how random it was. But I had a CD of Half-Life that was pirated, and I had the paper with a serial key inside. And you installed Counter-Strike and you put the serial key of the Half-Life to install it. And that one was not captured yet. So my pirated Half-Life worked on the
Because you have the
registration.
key. Oh shit. Actually, um that's how things worked back in the day. They were simpler. You could do this, right?
And I know that
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, like it I can honestly say it wasn't me, but some of my schoolmates, when we went to internet cafe to play Counter-Strike, they opened the account of the internet cafe and changed their email address and got the
Steal the account.
Counter-Strike.
I
Man.
mean, that's how things worked back in the day. Now there's a lot of security. Yeah, I think those were the starting days, and they were like it was with me all the time.
Mhm,
As I said, Half-Life, Counter-Strike 1.6 were the first games that I ever played. So
mhm.
actually, I skipped all this Super Nintendo, Nintendo 64 stuff. I went straight to the PC. Um, but no, actually, the first ever thing was Tekken that I
Mhm.
played on the PS1, Tekken 3. Still my all time favorite. I still play it on a daily on my Steam Deck. Um, Shout out to all the classic Tekken players. Yeah, and during the time that I told you that I went into like dark areas and did bad stuff, I lost track of gaming
Mhm.
because I was thinking like, gaming is for nerds. Like that was my mindset
Mhm.
back in those days. And when I, that's funny because when I got track of my life back again, like when I got back on track, I started gaming excessively and even more. Now that sounds paradox.
Mhm.
The moment I got control of my life, I started playing video games like crazy. And they helped me become more successful in life. They were a constant. And the takeaways that I learned in games and video games, communication, teamwork, English.
Yes, exactly.
English, man. So much, not just the textbook English that you've been learning in school. No, American slang. Like or
The curse
trying to
words, right?
the curse words, trying to communicate with people from all over Europe. Back
Mhm.
in the day, there were no EU servers, they were just global servers that you
Yeah.
had to play on. So we all had a bad ping, but but you were playing with Americans as well. So um I have been learning so much throughout video games, team play, empathy, so much stuff, and I still am grateful for everything. So I'm still playing a lot of video games, and then again, I lost track of it because I got so much into that corporate family life,
Mhm.
right? So I got married, I got more focus on my career, and again, I was feeling that myself was getting into a mood, in a darker mood that I know that something was missing. So
Mhm.
a few years ago, actually, I got back into gaming again. Um, I like there are some constants that I still play, like still World of Warcraft for over 20 years now. Um, Counter Strike, but I never play Counter Strike in a competitive way. I just played like Surf, Zombie Escape, stuff like that because I love that. Actually, we had a clan back in the day, and we had servers like that, like bunny hop servers, surf servers. We were doing that all day. So yeah, that's how my idea then came last year to start a channel because there's something that I'm not good at in a thing or in an area that I actually like. So I gotta change that. Um, and it's working out pretty well. And the directions that came from that initial idea, I love that it's taking like random routes and going into this area. And right now I'm at the point where um, I feel like I do whatever I want, and I feel better by doing this. You're tweaking a lot of stuff by creating content, especially if you're new to creating content. Um, like you do your initial stuff. Wow, okay, people are liking that. Then you're trying, okay, will people even like that? Oh, it fails. Nobody's clicking that video. Then you're trying next thing, and oh, okay, that's good. Then you're doing another video where you try to pretend to do something that you actually don't like, but you heard that a lot of people will click that. So you try that as well. It works out, but you think then, meh, it's not my personal favorites. And this is actually where I'm right now. I'm still producing content like how I feel. Um, and I don't want to change myself. I actually tried it. I tried to be like over exaggerated in some videos to see if it drags more people. But it did, but it did not drag the people that I wanted to have, like
Got it.
not the audience that I would like to have. And it was showing because the following videos where I was being myself again were getting less clicks because the audience that came with my, I am gonna call it Mr. Beast type of
Okay.
videos, like that over exaggerated, like, hey, like that. That was kind of not me. It was not authentic and not real. And I gotta admit that I have 2 videos where I did that. And I felt like shit after doing those. Um, Actually, it was 3. One I removed. One was so cringe that I removed it because,
Really?
yeah, I removed it like after 20 minutes of posting it. You guys didn't see it actually, um, and I was like, you know, I'm just like people like what I do because it's real, so I gotta stay real.
Exactly. Like
Um, yeah.
I I believe that the content creation and the streaming itself, like to a certain or to a larger extent, should be about bringing you being authentic, showing like as I wrote once under your Discord post. Like for me, it's about showing vulnerability. People want to watch real people. We are fed up with all the superheroes. I mean, not fed up. We love superheroes, but we want to talk to someone who is like us, who has their trouble, and especially in the like on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on everywhere.
Yeah.
Like
Oh boy.
people have such perfect profiles. Like on Instagram, nobody has any body issue.
See, I don't want to be
That's
pessimistic. I'm not a pessimistic person. I'm a very happy person, in fact. But if I smell bullshit, I call bullshit, and that's something
nah.
that I keep wanna doing actually in that channel. And if people like it or not, meh. Um,
Yeah, like
I
you'll
will
find your audience. Your audience
sure.
is already on YouTube somewhere. They just need to figure out where you are. They will.
I guess it's like that. And there were days where I was stressing myself out because it's my channel started like that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and then it stalled like really hard. And I kind of got discouraged at one point. I was like, maybe I'm doing something wrong and blah. Um, but you never know what happens because YouTube is something where you gotta have a lot of patience and you never ever should compare yourself with other YouTubers and how they got successful because on every YouTuber, it's a whole different story. Like somebody starts his channel and gets viral on his third video and that's it. Some people they take like 10 years and then they have built themselves an organic viewership and audience that stays with them. Some people lose it after getting viral as quick as they got it. So what I stopped doing is comparing myself to other creators because I have my audience. My audience listens to what I'm saying, how I'm talking, what content I'm producing. And if there are people that come by, I say, hi, you're welcome. If not, like, it's not like that. So, um, I gotta say, you gotta be like really, really patient and have a lot of endurance while creating content and don't get fed up with analytics because analytics, they mess up with your brain. Because you're gonna ask yourself, why is it like that? Why don't I have any impressions? Why are the click-through rates so bad? Oh, why are they good on that video but not on that? It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, do content, do it with all your heart, do it with all your soul. Be yourself, be authentic, and eventually you will get successful. Maybe tomorrow, maybe in 6 or 7 years. And that's actually a point where I was kind of delusional at the beginning because it kicked off kind of hard. Now I'm thinking differently. This should take however or how long it takes, because going back to the old Minecraft Kinzo from 2012, I will never do the same mistake and quit because I was not seeing immediate results. So that's why I changed the way I'm doing content. I'm not pressuring myself. I'm doing that just on the go. I'm doing that the style, the way I like to do it, so it does not feel exhausting. But yet still rewarding when I post something and it goes through. It goes viral, kinda. Not viral, but where the viewers and the views are getting good. And the same, like, and then there's luck. And then there's the stuff that happens. The algorithm picks up your video. Boom,
Yeah.
here you are. Another creator wants to collaborate with you. Boom, here you are. So I'm so lucky and grateful that content creator like Sparkles approached me, were generous enough to do a video with me. I mean, besides the skin that I've won back, I did not care about that. Like, I care about that skin and I still hold it as the most valuable item in my CS inventory because it's something special. Because it marked a special day in my career at that point and showed generosity. But it's not the monetized value. It's not about the money. Like, a lot of people would say, wow, that's a knife that costs, like, I don't know how much. It's not about the money, but it's the fact that somebody saw and heard me and said, hey, that's a cool guy.
Mhm.
First of all, I want to help him out. Second of all, I want to make a video with him together and give him the chance to promote his channel. And that's like, and we were still in contact. Like, we were talking back and forth all the time. And I'm learning a lot from him. I got a lot of valuable tips. I'm so grateful for that. There are another creators I want to give credit. Renyan was like one of the first ones who regularly raids my streams. Still, like, I have the feeling that every time he's ending a stream, he's raiding mine. And that's so generous. So, and he's like, yeah, you're a cool guy. Like, I felt sorry in the beginning what happened, but you're a cool guy. And that's why I'm doing that. And that's luck. That's a lot of luck. I had the chance to talk to Warowl. I don't know if you know him.
That was the only one I knew before I heard about those names in your stream, because I don't really watch people like who are mostly having gameplay videos. I like that type of content that is trying to teach you something, and Warowl was there for like longer time, and I was like, wow, you actually communicate with him. So that's actually something I wanted to ask you about. How did that come together, and what did you talk about?
It's the same for me, actually. Warowl was the first content creator in CS that I started watching like over 10 years ago, like still in CSS times. And he's doing like that boomer content because he is still doing the same content that he was doing 10 years ago. He's teaching. He has that entertaining voice, and he's like,
and no closing, still Warowl.
still no closer. And like, those are things that I grew up with, right? So he was one of the, or he still is one of the creators that I'm looking up to because he never changed. He never got into any shady sponsors. I don't want to discredit any other people. I'm like, God forbid. But he is still doing what he is doing exactly the same. And he just moved with time, with the game, right? So actually, when I started, I I wrote him an email.
Nice.
I wrote an email. I was like, hey, my first idea, and I gotta be very transparent right here. My first idea was to interview him. I was like, hey, you are my favorite CS content creator. I've been following you for a long time. I just started out and I would like to interview you in order to learn. So a couple weeks passed and I was like, this guy's inbox is flooded. Nobody will see that. Like, he will never see that email. Then I got a response. Like, all of a sudden, I got a response. And he was like, hey, I checked out your channel. Yeah, I would be happy to, like, we can do an interview if you would like to. But what I can offer you instead of an interview, if you would like, is a personal one-to-one. Just me and you, a personal chat. We're gonna talk and you can choose. And then I was like, I gotta take that actually. Because doing an interview is fine and I'm gonna learn a lot about him in that interview, but also do some content and hopefully would get some attention. But however, I was thinking, this person knows I texted him, knows my situation, and is offering me, and like he's doing in his content, is offering me true value.
Yeah.
Like, he's offering me his time without any content, without any recordings, private time for free, for absolutely free. And he doesn't know me, to have a chat with me. And we talked like 1.5 hours or so.
That's
Like,
amazing.
yeah, then we had a talk. He told me, he gave me tips on how to create videos, like not how to create them, because that's something that everybody should do on himself, but things to look after, how YouTube works, kinda. He had a look at my channel, and we had a chat. I was learning so much stuff, and it was crazy. Like, this person gave me so much motivation and hope, and he was genuinely interested in our chat, and we still are in contact as well. He invited me into a group because he said, hey, let's do some content together. And yeah, maybe you will see, maybe you will see some content this year where I will be
Nice.
participating. And I'm so happy. He said, like, hey, listen, there is a group. Sometimes we do videos together. I would like to have you in it. And
Oh, I know those videos. That's the group that they do the funny mod gameplay, right?
yes, yes,
Those are
exactly,
crazy.
exactly. And when I looked into the people who are in that group, like Jeff, there are like a lot of creators in there, and I was like, wow, I'm so honored to be part of this. Like, everybody has like 200K, 300K, 500K, and there's like me, 6K. I was like, nice, but that's how it all begins. And what I learned from him as well is take your freaking time.
Yeah.
Like, I should be happy with what I have and how fast it grew for the past 5 months. As I said, of course, there are channels who blow up in 2 weeks. But what I feel is the growth that I'm having is organic and is true. It's
Yeah.
real. Those are real people. Like 6,000 people. There are 6,000 people out there that know about me.
Right.
Wow. It's
And you
crazy.
know that there are some creators blow up in 2 videos. Some pop music groups blew up for 1 year and then you don't know about them, right?
They disappeared.
And
Yeah.
then you have Eminem. just just came up as the first
And then
name.
yeah, just like, we don't have to talk about the GOAT.
Yeah,
He is,
indeed.
in fact, the greatest of all time and will be forever. Yeah,
I was
but
I was actually thinking maybe we should record a lose yourself Counter Strike as we started.
on Inferno. Still remember, and that's like, those are the moments that I'm enjoying. I'm
Yeah.
enjoying creating content, meeting people like you, meeting people like who are playing in the Discord, who are in the stream, and we are having such a good time. It does not matter what is happening around us, right, in the world. It doesn't matter what's happening around us as long as we're having our own world and we are having fun in there together. Everything is good.
Exactly. That's a wrap for the part 1 of this interview. If you liked it and you wouldn't like to miss the second part, hit the subscribe button down below. Also, let me know how you like this type of video. Do you enjoy seeing interviews? Would you enjoy seeing more? If so, I will try to make it happen. Before I finish, Kinzo, Thank you again so much for sitting down with me and sharing your journey. Thank you everyone for watching. Good luck in your games and see you in the next video. Bye bye.